Hi, everyone. Today is Thursday, January 21st of 2021. So how are you doing today?
Doing great. Just reading about cryptos this morning. I typically have a ton of trainings and stuff in the morning, but I didn't today. All my stuff will be in the afternoon. So just been chilling, looking at some crypto stuff, pretty excited. Why don't we pull up CoinGecko? You can tell me what you're interested in this week or anything that's, we can just kind of talk about some of these. Anything stand out to you?
Ethereum, well, that's a wonderful price.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it held its ground pretty nice, didn't it? I mean, Bitcoin has been losing dominance. It's headed towards 60% now. And the money is melting into the alts. And the things I like about these dips are, number one, it shows me we are still in wave one. Because remember this grand experiment, a lot of it is just looking back at my blabs and then seeing where we're at. And that's always my answer is, well, let's see where we're at. If it dips down, comes back up, dips down, comes back up. Well, we're still in wave one, where up is the motion. It's just that there's going to be opportunities for the pullbacks. But what I like about it is I like the fact that Chainlink is still around 20 bucks, right?
Absolutely. I think that's some of the things that stick out to me looking at this chart is that, yeah, I know there's probably a few people worried about a little bit of a dip today, but we've experienced such an amazing rise. And if we even look at the last 7 days, I mean, Ethereum is still up almost 6%, Polkadot's up almost 48% in the last week. I mean, still, even right now, currently. Cardano's up 8%, Chainlink 22%. I mean, this is kind of what sticks out to me. Aave's up 13.8 on the week. I mean, this is great, right?
Yeah, and I mean, even Dogecoin hasn't pulled back to the 0.5%. Usually, a lot of times it'll pull back to the lower number again before it takes off again. And that's, again, just to show us that, you know, even some of these what are considered lesser coins and tokens, that they do have a following and they are important, and it's not crazy to own them. Also, VeChain, that one's been creeping up quite nicely. Again, always look for the ones that are unloved. And I've sent a few people last week to VeChain who were in desperate situations, either having their own portfolio hacked and having to start at a much lesser number. And they're just like, you know, Sam, I just need some I need some flyers here, and I don't care how long I have to hold on. And I was like, you know what? I said, VeChain has been unloved, and it's a penny stock. I call it a penny stock.
Yeah.
And I see it in the dollars. I do. And I'm just holding on. I mean, my first cash out for VeChain isn't until it's like over $1. So, and I mean, you know, when you get it at less than half a penny, it's a nice it's a nice greedy return, but I'll wait for it, right? That's the thing, is that if you're willing to wait for it and not get unsettled, because a lot of people in a market like this, it's very tempting to trade yourself into oblivion.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's best. You know, we make this analogy all the time, but, you know, we are at the betting track. We're having a beer. We're getting ready for the horse race. We've already got our bets in there. You know, feel bad for anybody trying to swing for the fences, because if they lose, they're not going to be able to hang out with us, right? So don't do that. And it's best just to stay put. If you're in good projects, why would you be jumping around? I just don't see any benefit to that. But
yeah, change your thought process. I mean, get excited about your cohorts there in the Discord room that you hang out with, who are, you know, they're very envious of the big bags that we all have, because we've all been hanging out together for some of us 2 years now. You know, or almost 2 years we've been hanging out. And before that, some people followed my YouTube channel. So yeah, at least 2 years we've been hanging out, talking about Stellar, talking about Tezos, talking about a lot of different cryptocurrencies. And at one point we became like the Link channel, and I'm glad for that. Before that, it was like the VeChain channel. And then more recently it was the Dot channel. And now, and you know what, I'm really liking Polkastarter, and this dip makes me almost want to check MLPOLS. And yeah, $1.23. Yeah, it's up like in 30 days, 196%. But you know, if that took a dip below $1, I think I would jump all over that too. And I would sell my Neo and buy PokeStarter with it. So my plan to reduce my number of cryptos would totally fail, but at least I'm buying a project that I feel really good about.
I feel really good about you doing that. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, I didn't sell my Neo yet. Is anyone surprised?
Yeah. So, so notice what Sam's talking about there. She's talking about getting out of a project to get into a better project, not necessarily trying to catch some wave or some spike or, and that's what I worry about is people are jumping around trying to catch, they FOMO into stuff and then they're left.
Yeah. I mean, I've had my Neo since 2017. It got beat up at one point there, and it was what was considered cheap. I'm up on it now because I waited it out. I believed that Neo would still exist. I didn't see it going out of business. I still don't see it going out of business. But when I see projects like that, I don't really want to, keep extending my coins and tokens. But I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I really do think I'm going to be starting to take some cream off this year. So, but maybe I'll just keep PokeStarter, and that'll be one that I hold on to for a couple of years, right? Because I held on to Neo, so I'm definitely not hopping around because again, taxes will be like a freaking nightmare, right? So if I did any type of trading, so being a hodler does have being a hodler, you don't cash in, you don't trade, it's not a tax nightmare.
Exactly. 100%. Well, we got a ton of questions and we didn't get to all of them last week. So why don't we go ahead and just start hitting them right now? Sound good?
Sounds great.
Hey, Sam and Moo, there's a lot of hype around having an exit strategy to cash out in this bull run, but is that really the best approach? Which coins might be worth staking instead for continuing to get passive income, paying less taxes, plus an increase in their capital value or their price during the time of the next cycle or two? For example, was thinking about things like Ethereum, ADA, Atom, which is Cosmos. Thank you very much. Any thoughts?
I agree with the first two. Cosmos, I would probably just sell that on the upside and get my equity out of it. I like Cosmos. I'm not saying anything bad about it. We're talking about staking, right? So ADA, especially where it's a project that I see becoming very expensive to buy into. Right now, projects like, DOT and ADA and a lot of the ones that we're looking at regularly, they're not expensive to buy into right now. Right. Ethereum's expensive to buy into, but I do think that if somebody has the assets, like if you're coming in with, oh my gosh, how much is the node now? I just remembered that. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. People can't just off the cuff buy a Ethereum node anymore, can they? It's like 40 grand, isn't it?
Yeah, 1163 times what?
32.
So that'd be $37,000.
Yeah.
I wish people would have got it when it was 25.
I know. See, that was what I was saying to people. I was like, if someone was coming in with 10,000, I was like, well, make sure you got enough to get a node there. Just get a node, and then all the rest of ones, this is what you should get, right? And there was a reason for that, because what I was seeing, and I can't always explain what I'm seeing, but it's just, you just have this feeling about something like, people were all upset about Kyber, but I was just excited, and people were buying it who were like, well, Sam says it's good and there's going to be an announcement, so I'm going to buy it at 80 cents. And I'm going, yay, you're going to be so rich. Right? Yeah. But I couldn't fathom, if somebody's like, oh, well, what price at this time? And it's like, well, I can't really do that. Sometimes I can off the cuff, but it's usually one-offs here and there just to keep the excitement. Because, the people on the other side do get a kick out of that when I do nail price. Like if we nail the $56, because you agreed with that. So we're trying to figure out, did I read your mind or did we both agree? That's the problem.
Grand experiment.
Yeah, I know. I know we're going to look back and we'll be like, okay, well, maybe I just read your mind, but then we got it right.
Sure. Let me do this for Social in Sydney. Let's do this. So, yep, Sam mentioned a couple, but let's just play around. So I'll include this link. So if you guys want to play around. So if we're going to get appreciating assets, a capital asset like ETH, it'll be fun for you to play around and see here, is this providing what you want? Still a You know, a rental house that costs you 37 grand or whatever, if it brings in, you know, $300 a month, in the world that I come from, that's actually not bad at all. So
it's just straight profit. There's
Yep.
no light bill to pay. There's no repairs, no tenant not paying you their rent and being all pissy with you about it. Right? I'm like, what are you mad about? You're the one who didn't pay your rent. Like, what's your problem?
Exactly.
You don't have to deal with any of that.
Yeah, I mean, in so many ways, this is so great because, I mean, you never have to touch this 32 ETH. So I agree with the questioner. And then, you know, we could get funny and just say, okay, well, what if it was $2,500 each? Wow. Okay. Well, that would bring in, you know, $641 or $7,700 a year. That's great.
Yeah. Now, 4,000 for me is a given, just like Bitcoin at 20,000 was a given to me. So I feel totally comfortable with you putting 4,000 in there.
Okay. So 4,000 would give us $1,000 a month and almost $13,000 a year, man.
All right. So what would it be? A $10,000 Ethereum would give you that 2,500 a month I was seeing.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So let me go back. Yeah.
So the 2,500 a month that I was seeing for Ethereum, like that's not crazy now. It's not a crazy thing for me to have seen for the future, but to get people to stock up. When did I do the ETH readings? It was last May 2020.
Yes. So yeah, you're right. $10,000 Ethereum gives you almost $2,700 a month and $32,000 a year. So, you know, if people are out there like, it's just too expensive at $1,260. Yes. But remember, this $37,000 rental house, if you were to buy it now, and it did go here and you never had to touch this principal, that's what it would be producing in a year. Just saying. So, you know.
So I think Ethereum, I'm looking at the price here, April 14th, 2020, it was $158.27. So I think it was around that time. I keep saying I got Ethereum at 200. That was my last dump of Ethereum.
Yeah.
I got it at 200. So I guess most of it was, I'd have to look at my records and see when I bought it. But I actually overstated how much I paid for it. And then that means that most of the people in our group who were hanging out back then, and, you know, we pretty much swim like a school of fish, you know, when the people on the other side start screaming at me about stuff, right? And I'm just like, whoa, man, Link, Dot. No, I got to blab about it. And, you know, if I fail, you know, that's my fault. It's not because the people on the other side were wrong. It's just because I misread it. But I find now with cryptos, because I've been practicing so much, and we've been getting these hits over and over again, so then I know what the feeling is. And I'm very optimistic about the future. So I know we're talking about how much it costs to get an ETH node right now. And some people are discouraged because they feel that's at a reach for them. But I am telling you, there is something else coming. You can buy stuff cheap now for the future, and it would be like holding Ethereum now. So don't be discouraged. Just, you know, get some DOT, get some, what's the other one that's Ethereum, sort of I see ADA like that kind of popularity, but it's not really Ethereum, is it? ADA.
No,
it's different.
Yep.
There's another one though.
Now Cardano is there's a cool development that will be occurring soon where they'll have some Ethereum virtual machine capabilities within their own system. So that's kind of cool. And, you know, we've always seen DOT and Ethereum working together. You know, Gavin and Vitalik are like buddies. You know what I mean? You wouldn't even have Ethereum without either one of those two smart guys. So they're always planning that these things will kind of work together. So
yes, fantastic. Yes, that's well, I guess if you wanted to look at, you know, Tezos, or, you know, on the big upside, we just already talked about VeChain. But I guess when we're talking, sometimes I'm getting feelings from the group, and there's some people who are like, you know, they can't get an ETH node. They feel bad about it, but I'm just like, hey, don't worry about it. There's going to be lots and lots. There's lots to go around. Don't worry. Lots of cryptos are going to go to the moon. If you don't hold any Link, then if you hold, you know, Tezos or one of the other ones, you know, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it.
You know, I will just throw this out there, and you're welcome to give an opinion, but, you know, you know, if somebody can't afford 32, maybe they have 3 friends, right? Them and 2 others that can start a business arrangement, go to a real lawyer, have a real business arrangement drawn up, and then they only have to provide 10.6 a piece, right? Or you might have people already involved in business. Maybe you're in a business that has 4 people that run the business or have contributed to the business, you know, so then you would only need 8 apiece. So, you know, keep these things in mind. I think if more people would kind of approach it this way, maybe they could wrap their mind around, listen, if this asset's going up, it's a no-brainer for me. I would want to be involved however I could. And yes, I guess if you've missed the boat, there are other opportunities too. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the people who've been here, I've been in crypto since 2017. What are you, 2013?
Yeah. Hey, I want to say something though. I heard an interesting term. Would you rather invest in digital gold or the digital economy? And I thought, wow, that really says it all, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Which do you see hitting $1 first? And any subsequent blabs around these, please. XLM, XRP, or ADA?
I don't know which one's going to hit $1 first. No idea. All 3 of them are definitely going to hit $1. And the only number I only have 2 numbers for XRP, and that is $1.20 and $10. Those were the only 2 numbers that I saw for XRP. XLM and ADA, I saw them, you know, doing the wave one, you know, like pull back, pull back. You know, that seems to be the way that it is. And then once in a while, like I said, when you have the Q Lab list, you know, that means that you really have enough to choose from when you're dollar cost averaging. Just find like the bottom 4 and buy those ones. You're like, oh my gosh, I've been buying Tezos like 3 paychecks in a row. And It's like, well, I mean, look at VeChain. How long did you buy that 3 or 4 paychecks in a row? Right? When it was like 1.7 cents and it couldn't seem to get over 2 cents. And you were buying that because it was unloved, and then it would go back to 1.3, but everything else was going up. And you know, but now look at you with VeChain over 3 cents.
Yeah, man. Heck yeah. This is an interesting one. It's very broad, so I don't know how. I'll just read it as written. Do you see the average Sam Jammer to be up 2 times, 10 times, or 100 times in their crypto holdings by the end of the year?
I don't know about the end of the year, so it's really the cash out. That's what matters, right? And I think the minimum average will be 100 times. And when I say the minimum average, some people will cash out their Ethereum when they are, you know, like 10 times their Ethereum, because the sort of the minor coins will do better on their multiples. The problem is that some of them will die, right? And for every one that you have that went, you know, 30 times instead of 10 times, you know, you'll have ones that either laid there, did nothing, went down, or went out of business. Because when you're buying these flyers, remember that you really do need one of them to go like, you know, 100 times, or else, because you've had so many go down on you, right? So my thing is that ETH seems to be the no risk one more than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, you've got the deflation risk part of it where it's the entry point. And then people are selling it off, because who wants to buy Bitcoin? Who wants to be holding it at 40 grand? Right? I don't want to buy it at 40 grand, because even at 100,000, that's only 2.5 times. That's not enough of a return for the risk reward ratio. But Ethereum's actually being used. So I can see more people just jumping like right into that. And then looking around to the other alts, but like we have to keep in mind that there's going to be a lot of stuff that's scammy. There's nothing going on. Developers are going to leave. You know, now we're into phase 2 of all of that I spoke about, where the challenge is going to be keeping the good developers.
You know, just some things that came to mind as you were talking, you know, so I know this is not what they're asking, but I hope people are excited about where they're at. I mean, in the last 30 days, Ethereum has went 2x, right? Polkadot's went 4x. API 3s went almost 5x. So I'm just glad to be involved at this point. Do you have any sense of whether or not a general return of alts, 2017 all-time highs for Cardano at $1.19, Stellar at 92 cents, and Digibyte at 14 cents, is this first wave or second wave territory?
It's just first wave territory, in my opinion. Second wave is like that wall, just straight up. So that might be, you might find V chain at $7 by the time you've topped that wave.
Yeah. Hey, Sam and Moo, been sporadically listening to you both over the months. Should have listened and purchased bigger bags of DOT and Link, but only have a little. Prices have run up a lot. Should I continue to dollar cost average into these two coins or continue to load up more on the cheaper QLabs like VET 80AXLM?
Yeah, I mean, all of the above, like take advantage right now with the pullback. That's what I always say. Like, don't buy something when it's just run up 30 or 40%. You know, there's always a pullback. There's always a circle back. You know, we saw that happen with DOT. DOT ran to $6 or $7 and then it pulled back, and, you know, you'd be lucky to get it around 4 for a while there, around end of October.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the thing, is that, you know, a lot of people panicked when it went to $7, and they were buying it at $7 because they were thinking it was going to go like Link to $12, $14, $20. And it didn't do that right away. And it pulled, well, it did, but it pulled back and it gave people time to buy. And that's my thing, is that buy, like, keep dollar cost averaging, but you already know the pattern. So make sure that you're buying down here. And then when it's running, then just relax and hold your breath and just wait, and then wait for the turnaround and then get some more. But do know and do realize that at one point that wall is going to come. And boy, I'm telling you, anybody who's doing trading and has bags of cash, like lots of it left on the table. Let's say maybe they have 30% of their portfolio in cash at any one time. Oh, they are going to cry.
Yeah. And I just hope, you know, nobody got scared, you know, and jumped out at DOT, right? And then chased something else and that went down, and then chased something else. And now they're trying to buy their DOT back at, you know, $20 or whatever, 16. Don't do that. Do not do that. What is the best purchase now? 88 VET or Doge?
Probably 88.
Hey, Sam and Moo, I can't stop feeling that I want to retire off staking Cardano. So is it possible to keep it for like 10 years plus? Or will it crash back down like things happened in 2018? Should I get mostly out of it at a certain price? Thanks.
Oh, I don't know. That's too long term for me. I just feel like it's a 10-year bull market. I feel like I'll be out of doing cryptos like I'm doing it now, where I'm talking to people about it and, you know, telling. I don't really have to tell people to keep the faith right now. I think that people are now agreeing that cryptos are here to stay, whereas a couple of years ago, it wasn't so clear. It was still very nerve-wracking. Governments would come down. But again, we're still headed up. There's going to be lots of stuff happening. And this is where the money's to be made during the Wild West times. That's when people got free land, right? You know, people sitting on Bitcoin Cash. Oh, I got it for free.
Right.
You know, it's worth, what is it, $400 or $500 per Bitcoin Cash now. And you got it for free. It was just dumped into your wallet because you held Bitcoin. I know I was holding Bitcoin at that time because it was early days for me. And I was like, what? Where'd that come from?
Yay.
I went onto my wallet and I was like, I was used to seeing like these crap coins dumped in that weren't worth anything, but it was unusual to see something that was actually worth some money that was in my wallet. So anyways, yes, very early days. Nice to see you, Candace. Yes, keep buying DOT. It's, you know, DOT. I'm talking about PokeStarter as well. I'm excited about that. I don't know where the crypto market goes from there. I don't think there's going to be a big crash. I think what's going to happen, you know, a lot of people don't realize that the only one of the only companies that was listed on the New York Stock Exchange at the turn of the last century, so from 1899 to 1900, that was also still listed when we went to 2000, and that was General Electric. There was only one company over that 100-year period that I'm aware of, right? If there's any more, maybe there's a couple more, but I don't think so. But I'm just trying to make the point that companies will come and go. And this is the danger of, you know, buying your VET at 3 cents and then not cashing in when, you know, the $3,000 you put in is now like, you know, 300,000 and you still haven't taken anything off. I mean, you're playing a dangerous game, not one I want to play. But hey, that's your personal business, right? We all, make choices in our life. And some people are just coming in with a small amount and they're just crossing their arms and going, give me your best shot, because I'm just holding on for dear life. And I've got a timeline. I'm not cashing in for 5 years, and I'll let the chips fall where they may. I'm not even going to look at it. And I was like, okay, you know what? If that works for you, have at her.
This is from Deb. It says, do you think that in the future, Kyber network will be able to be staked in popular wallets like Atomic, Trust, and Exodus?
I don't know about that. I think that Kyber is going to make a valiant effort to have as many people as possible using their wallet. Now, I don't know if they have one right now, but if they don't, they're going to. And so many people are going to be wanting to use Kyber that that's going to be a big draw. And you're going to start to see that where people will put things together where there's such a big advantage to marrying, your wallet with your, the Kyber token, and, putting this, they're looking at upselling. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's just like how the phone company now gets your phone, they go after your mobile, they go after your, they sell you internet. You can have a different cellular company. You can have a different internet company, and you can have a different company that comes and sets up, your phone in your house, right? 3 different companies. But a lot of them, they have bundled packages and things like that. And this is what I'm seeing for Kyber, is that they're going to try to do that to move people more to use what they're offering.
Yeah. So from the question, Deb, I think it's important to understand what Kyber is and what it's not. You wouldn't stake this like a normal network coin necessarily. Kyber's a DEX, so it's kind of its own thing. And there's some governance around that with which you can generate Ethereum, very small amounts of Ethereum. But people have been frustrated because they've only been using small amounts of Kyber, and then they get to vote and receive ETH, but the transaction fees are too high for them for the volume that they have in there. So keep that in mind. For larger holders, that never is a problem. Keep that in mind as well. That transaction is still the same cost. So what do I want to say? Kyber, so we saw Kyber explode just a couple of days. Today it's up quite a bit just a little while ago. So we've been waiting for the Kyber 3.0 rollout, and that's now here. So it's going to bring some really cool functionality to Kyber that it didn't have before. It's going to act a little bit more like Curve. It's actually going to reduce slippage about 100-fold. So that'll be great. So you might even see it. Its competitor would probably be, you're going to see it possibly eat into some market share of like Uniswap, something like that. Because or some of the aggregate dexes like 1inch. When you go to like 1inch and you're trying to find, or Matcha, and you're trying to find the cheapest kind of slippage there for what you're trying to do, Kyber will now probably start popping up a lot more as a more viable option. I know they're adding some balancer type functionality to it as well. So I'll stop there, but yeah, you don't need something like Kyber to be integrated into something like Atomic or Trust or Exodus. What you need is for them to become very efficient and successful and implement technologies to do what they do better. That's what you want with these tokens. Have you had the opportunity to reevaluate your 3 categories?
I'll be doing that now this weekend. And I think what I'll do is I'll just make a list. I'll make a couple of lists of, because the Carrot Farm, all they are simply cryptocurrencies that I see surviving. What I'll do is I'll just go through the top 100, and I'll say, these are the cryptocurrencies that I see surviving, for the longer term, and I'll put those on the Carrot Farm, but I don't have any details. It's not like anything that, you must have these. Unlike the Q Labs, where it was like, these ones, buy your Stellar at 4 cents, dollar cost average in, and, they'll just keep going and going, and they will, not only will they survive, but, you'll make a really great return on them. And so I'll continue to do those lists, but yes, I'll reevaluate, because, for example, everyone hates EOS because of the trouble moving it and this and that. And there's going to be a lot of other coins and tokens that I see becoming big, just like EOS with, through China. So again, I'll reevaluate the Q labs from that point of view as well, because I don't want people to just be holding a few. Because again, I have huge issues with people who had 50% of their portfolio in XRP, and I still do. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a